Our next storyteller is a Fulbright scholar and graduate student in the Ecology, Evolution, and Behavior program at Binghamton University, and she was born and raised in Egypt. Please welcome to the stage Hagar Soliman.
I like how someone originally selected "Why didn't you get that grant?" and unvoted for it just now.
So what is it going to be for you, Hagar? Which one of these would you least want to answer at a job interview?
Oh, definitely the species question. I think we spend like an entire class just fighting over what a species is. It's crazy.
Well, now you all know Hagar is a graduate student and will be applying for jobs at some point. So if she applies for a job and interviews with you, you can ask her that to test her limits. So, all right, Hagar, are you ready to share your story with us? Because we are ready to listen.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, well, we will shrink down into our little corners here. Take it away.
All right. Okay. It was the summer of 2015. I was sitting in the living room in front of my computer, refreshing the website where the results for the last year of high school is going to be released on. I wasn't nervous or anything like that. I made myself a cup of tea and I was listening to music, just chilling in the living room. My mom, on the other hand, she was extremely anxious. And the reason for that is this grade is not going to only decide which universities I can apply to in Egypt, but also which field of study I'm going to specialize in my undergraduate years. And in Egypt, medical school is the pinnacle of success. And to get there, you need a perfect score. And every parent will push their kids' limit to get that perfect score and get to medical school. My parents were not any different, specifically my mom. I refreshed the website page one more time, and here it was. I got 94%. And I was actually happy about that grade, and I thought it's a good representation of the amount of work that I put in. My mom was absolutely devastated. This grade meant that I won't be able to apply to medical school or any school related to human health, like dental school, for example. And within moments, the happiness that I had for my grade transferred into self-contempt because I disappointed my mom. So what was the next best option? It was the College of Science. And honestly, I wasn't mad about this idea. I remember when I was a kid, I loved science and biology classes, and I would get excited over seeing some onion cells under a light microscope. So why not? My mom, again, was not thrilled at all. The reason is because in Egypt, the College of Science is notoriously known for being extremely difficult. So difficult that some people will spend like 6 or 8 years to get a bachelor's degree, and you can absolutely fail a couple of courses every semester and it will be normal. I told her I would do my absolute best to graduate in 4 years, and let's see what we can do about that. But I was terrified. I was terrified of the idea of failing, and most importantly, I was terrified of my mom. On the first day of school, she looked at me and told me, "You've only got one semester, and if you failed in a single class, I am immediately transferring you into a different college. And by different college, it's a different major like literature or history, and which I absolutely hate." And bless her heart, I know she meant well, but her words just put a lot of weight on my shoulders to strive for perfection for the next 4 years. Freshman year was absolute hell. The first shock that I received that everything was in English. The studying material, the textbook, the exams, everything was in English. And I have been taught science in Arabic. I didn't even know what a cell means. So what I would do is I spend every day from 6 a.m. till bedtime in front of Google Translate and a small science dictionary that I bought, just translating scientific terms. And it was like a baby learning to read for the first time. And I was just translating, let alone understanding complex scientific ideas. I end my freshman year and I was the first in my class, but I was absolutely miserable. My mom was not alarmed at all. She thought like, hey, you're getting good grades. Everything should be good, right? I was anything but good. I pushed my friends away. I wanted to be alone. I was unbearable person to be around. And every single day I would think of the different ways that I can kill myself with. I take the subway every day to campus, and every day I would tell myself, just do it. Don't be a coward. Just push yourself in front of the train and end your life. But I feel like there is no way out, and the only way to get out of that nightmare is just to honor the promise that I did for my mom, and that will be it. And I thought it is gonna get better. I'm gonna take advanced courses in science and find my passion in science, and all would be good, right? But it didn't get good. I remember in my senior year, one of the professors asked the class, like, hey, you've seniors, you've made it so far. Does anyone regret getting into this field? And I immediately raised my hand. I wasn't the only one, but all of the class like looked at me like, what is her deal? She gets straight A's, like, well, she's ungrateful. But it wasn't like that. They had something that I didn't. They had genuine passion about science, and I felt nothing. I feel like an imposter among them, and I absolutely don't belong to science. It was also in my senior year when a course is being offered called evolutionary genetics, and I got immediately intrigued because I know in Egypt evolution is a sensitive topic to talk to people about, let alone to teach. And Egypt is a Muslim country, and most of people believe in creationism, or that God created every organism in the shape and form they are in right now. And if you even mention the name Darwin, people get really agitated and will call you atheist, and the conversation will get really bad so fast. So I was intrigued to see how this is gonna go. So I just signed up for the class with the women. Let's go and see what's gonna happen. On the first day of the class, I pulled myself out of the bed, got dressed, and went to campus, and I grabbed myself a cup of coffee that I really needed to keep my eyes open. I entered the lecture hall, and I sat in one of the desks, and I just put my head on the desk to just to fight sleeping for the next 2 hours, as I always do. The professor entered the lecture hall, and he casually sat on one of the desks. He didn't even introduce himself. He just looked at us and said, "What is your definition of natural selection?" I remember that I sat straight up and I was immediately hooked. And I don't know why. Maybe something about how direct his question is, or maybe because he was just initiating discussion, not shoving information down our throat. I was interested. He kept asking more questions like, why do we have so many species? And how would a bacteria evolve antibiotic resistant? And why or how would a harmless moth mimic a wasp to evade predators? How would it evolve to do that? I was wide awake, and it was not because of the caffeine in my coffee, it was because of him. I had so many questions, especially about that weird moth, and I started to bombard him with my own questions. I was like, what is happening here? How would it know which genes to turn on and off? And is it a change in the DNA sequence or epigenetic modification? Is it a local adaptation or just like heritable trait? What is happening? And I kept asking so many questions to the point that he said in a noise, well, I don't know, Hagar, go figure it out yourself. At the end of the semester, he came up with the idea of doing a flash debate. So we were divided randomly into groups, and every two teams will debate one another or on a randomly assigned topic. My team got assigned to defend Darwinians' ideas about natural selection. I was on cloud nine, unlike everyone else. Everyone else thought that Darwin was a heretic, and if you believe in evolution, you're an atheist. I didn't care anyway. I just went home and start reading. And for the first time since whatever, I don't even remember, I caught myself reading for 2 hours without even getting distracted. I thought to myself, is this is how it feels to read and study something that you actually like? It was weird. On the day of the debate, my team and I entered the classroom, and a lot of people in the classroom looked at us and called us the atheist team. And they were just joking, and they didn't mean any harm. And I honestly didn't feel mad or offended or anything. I was just so motivated to prove all of them wrong. We started the debate. And my team did an absolutely wonderful job of coming up with evidence. And the last nail in the coffin of the other team argument was Darwin Finch's. After the debate was over, the professor asked us, or asked all of the class, which team did better job in convincing you of their arguments? All of the class clapped for a whole minute, and all of them raised their hands to vote for our team, and we got extra credit for that. I entered the class, I exited the class room, and I had the biggest smile on my face, and I didn't even care about that extra credit. For the first time since freshman year and since in my entire life, I viewed science as a passion. It wasn't an obligation or something that I do to please my parents. And for the first time in my entire life, I felt that I belonged to science. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hagar.
It's my pleasure.
I'm so glad that you found the path you did that brought you to us, because selfishly, I'm so glad that we could hear your story. And I also doubt that your professor randomly put you on the pro evolution team. He knew.
I also like how you just totally stumped him. I mean, the reason he was deflecting your questions was because he didn't have the answers.
Maybe. Yes.
The best students cause their own teachers to learn.
Oh,
that sounds like something someone smart would say, right? Let's go with that.
Whoa, man. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, Hagar. And for any of you in the audience, if you have questions for Hagar, please drop them in our question box. Or for any of our other tellers, I do want to remind you that like normal conference rules do not apply. You don't have to ask something full of jargon and be like, oh, well, you know, the error bar on figure 2, it was just a little kid. None of that. Ask something funny. Ask what Hagar's favorite type of taco is. Ask Manu if she would like to go get coffee with you sometime.
Don't ask her out in the questions. Don't do that.
Hey, well, it can be like
this married woman.
Oh my God. You sexualize everything.
Heather, this was a delight. We will see you at the Q&A at the end of the show. Thank you so much.
Okay.